Howdy everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now, today we're going to be doing something, well, not different, everybody's done it, but nobody's done it recently, I don't think. We're going to be starting a new game, completely vanilla, and we're going to run through basically a tutorial series on starting out, what to do, how to do it, yada yada. I'm going to go step by step on what I do, kind of explain the different components of the game, and try to get you understanding the basics of everything, because Space Engineers is a sandbox, so you do not have to do things step by step as I do. Do them in your own way. I highly encourage it. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to go to New Game. Once it loads up here. There we go. Now, I like to pick the star system, mainly because it has all the default planets already, especially for you guys on consoles. It will have as much as you can pretty much handle at this point, so it's pretty easy. If we go to Customize, there's a few things in here that we want to adjust, mainly for just sanity reasons. So everything up here is pretty normal. Asteroid amount is normal, normal density. Environment hostility. This is going to be kind of like asteroids hitting the planet or meteors. Normally we want to keep this unsafe because they do just become more of a nuisance more than anything. You can try it if you want, have at it, by all means. Limit world size, unlimited. Enable sun rotation, of course, because we like the day-night cycle. Block limits, I'm going to turn this off. PC players are able to turn this off. Console players, I don't believe you are able to turn this off, so keep that in mind. Now the next thing we want to do is scroll down to where we have all these different things. In-game scripts I like to turn on because they are handy. Enable spectator, this is handy as well in case we need to get a bird's eye view on something, and it's just nice to have. It's not like we're playing a realistic first-person only game here. Enable progression. I like to turn this off just because progression is another thing that once you do it a couple times, it just becomes more of kind of a nuisance. And then the last thing we want to turn on is enable share inertia tensor, unsafe torques, and unsafe piston impulses. This is the latest update to this menu, where they put these in here instead of them on by default. We want share inertia tensor because there's a couple things that are going to be multiple subgrids, and I'll explain what that is later down the road. But share inertia tensor is how to make them stable, or at least more stable than what they already are. Unsafe torques, definitely nice to have if you have a larger thing, a larger ship or a larger platform, something of the like, being moved by the like a rotor or a hinge. That'll allow you to do that. And then unsafe piston impulses, same concept. It kind of gives them a little more strength to push on whatever they're holding. So we'll keep that on as well. Other than that, we have economy turned on, which we can use, the weather system. If you want to take the chance and get lightning damage, have at it, but it's a finicky thing to do. But other than that, I think we are good. Cargo ships, in-game scripts, all that kind of stuff will be fine. I think we're okay. Oh, if you like to go up against the spiders or wolves, you can try to, but again, in my opinion, they just become more of a nuisance than anything, so that's why I don't ever turn them on. And then we go. Oh, I guess I could have mentioned that you can name the save, but we can do that later as well, so not too hard. And I'll see you inside. Alright, so once you spawn into the game, this is what you're going to come up against. You got a bunch of different stuff you can spawn in as. Now, the easiest, of course, is going to be the Earth-like drop pod. Another really easy one is the space pod, because you already have a bunch of stuff on the mini spaceship. But we're just going to keep it simple. We're going to start from square one, and we're going to go to Earth-like. and I'll explain why. Now, Earth-like, we're going to get a drop pod, and as soon as we get respawned in, it's going to give us a chance to view the world. Now, what we're going to want to do is kind of go into third person and take a look around at where we're at. We can't steer this thing as it falls, but it's nice to know kind of where we're landing. Alright, we go into third person, and this isn't too bad of a spot, actually. I can live with this. Now, one thing you can do if you don't necessarily like your spawn point, or say you're spawning up in the mountains or on the side of a cliff or something like that, you can always press backspace on PC, and of course it breaks. Love that. We hop out. You could always press backspace on PC. I will have the controller for consoles up here. All of the controls for consoles that I have, that I can find, will be up at the top here. I will also have a link in the description for the the actual controller layout and the different buttons and presses that you need to do the different controls. But you could always respawn if you don't like your landing zone, and choose Earth-like again, and come down in a different spot. But I kind of like our location. It's not terrible of a spot. I think we're okay. Hills are a little steep for like rovers and such, but we can work with that. I think we'll be fine. So first things first, we have a little drop pod here. It has pretty much everything you need to get started. First thing we're going to look at is this survival kit. Now the survival kit is what we can get energy from. If we look, there's this little blue box, and if you look down here in the bottom left, you can see my energy is at 97, my oxygen is at 93, and my hydrogen's at 86. If we go ahead and hold F on this, it fills up. Now, it's only going to fill up because we have ice over here in our O2 generator, which all it does is take ice and make oxygen and hydrogen from it. That's its whole purpose. It then uses little conveyors that, if we look back behind the seat, you can see it conveyor there, and it goes back into our survival kit. And then we can use it to fill up. Now, the survival kit will fill up energy as long as you have a charge in your battery, and we definitely want something more permanent before this runs out, because we have no way to recharge this at the moment. So, what we want to do is similar to if you've ever played Minecraft where you start punching trees. Space Engineers is similar in the way to where we start by digging holes. Now with your drill, if you right click, you will make... Ooh, that is loud. I forgot how loud vanilla Space Engineers is. Let me turn that down for you. If you right click, it will just make a hole without making any stone or anything fall to the ground. And it'll make the hole a little bigger than if you were actually mining. Pretty simple, right? If you left click, it will make it where stone falls on the ground and you can pick it up. Pretty simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click all the way through this earth, all the way down to this stone layer, because that's where the different density comes into play. If we were to just start collecting stone here at the dirt level, you see it's like 226, which is fine. Every little bit helps, of course. But what we want to do is get down here with 186, 138, 104. I think that's a little better. And you can do that with just a couple extra seconds of right click. So what we're going to do is get a nice pile, get it all picked up, and you can can see our inventory bar down at the bottom, that red line. It starts going red about 75% mark. And starts going red about the 75% mark. And once it's filled up, you get the little lady saying inventory full. We can come over to here, go into the survival pit, and just take our stone and drop it in. Now it can only hold 1,000 liters, which in this case is 2.702 kilograms of stone. Not too much to worry about. What we're going to do is we're going to go to production. We are going to click this little button over here that says ingots, and hold shift while we click the ingots button a couple times. So if you hold shift, it does it by the hundreds, which it gave us 200. If we were to get rid of that, if we're to hold control when we do it, it goes by tens. See? Now if we hold shift and control at the same time, it does it by 1,000. So that we'll go with 1,000, and it'll give us the base materials out of the stone. These are very simple, they're very basic ingots, but you're not going to get much more than this, and it's a very slow process with the survival kit, which is another reason why we want to get something a little more permanent. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go back into the production tab. You can see it's already gone through the stone. So what we can do is just tell it to make a bunch of steel plates for us. It'll take this iron, if we look. Alright, let's get more stone. Pick up an inventory full. Double click to transfer it over is another way to transfer your stone. We are also going to take out these steel plates. And if you see on the hotbar, that number 4 looks like a cube. That's going to be our default light armor block. Now, you can use that same one for base building, which is what it comes out as normally, or if you hold it up to a small grid, which is what's made with the small blocks, it can transfer, or change anyway, to a small block. So we can build on small ships, which is nice. We don't have to go to a different light armor block just to go big to small. And if you sometimes get stuck in this view, kind of like this, where it's now small and won't place on the ground, just hit that number again. It'll change it to a big one. Now, if you use your insert, home, page up, delete, end, and page down keys, I know that was a lot, but basically the group of 6 above your arrow keys on your keyboard, consoles, I will have it up above for what it is for you guys. You can rotate the block, which is nice. So you can turn it and trace it whatever way you feel like. Let's see what way we want to go. I think facing this little hill here will be fine. So we'll put our first block, we'll put it down here somewhere. That way we're not too close to our dig hole, but we can have some room for moving as well. Yeah, I think maybe like that. That should be okay. Because that'll give us some room downhill to expand as well. And we don't need very much at this point. I'm just going to go 6. We'll make it 7. I like odd numbers because it gives us a 1-point center. And then we'll bring this back a few. And I need more steel plate. Oh, and just so you know, the button that I use to get rid of the block and kind of go to no items in my hands is the tilde key. If you're on keyboard, that's the key next to the number 1. Or if you're on console, I'll have it up above, just like everything else. Put some more stone in. Grab some more steel plates. And keep going. I think I'll go to this side this time. And I'll probably make this like 5 wide. Just to get it started. So what was that for? Yeah. Okay. Get a couple more. We need more stone, so let's get some. Shouldn't take very long. Now, my first priority with this little permanent base is going to be power. Because we want to be able to power the different stuff, right? And we need a place to recharge our own suit batteries, as well as operate machinery. So, to be able to do that, we're going to need some kind of power generation. Now, there are a couple different ways to do power generation in Space Engineers, and we'll eventually go through all of them. But the biggest one at first, I think, is going to be wind turbines. They are very simple to make, they don't require anything special, and as long as you have a planet with atmosphere, you're basically guaranteed to have some kind of wind generation. That's how Space Engineers is. But what we want to do is bring up a set of these blocks about 8 away from the grid. I usually go 10 just to kind of be doubly sure it's far enough away. So we'll just take a bunch of it. We need more stone. Just for a couple more. Now you see, we are still building up silicon and nickel as we do this too, which will come in handy as we go to build our wind turbine. Beautiful. And I think since we're on a hill, I'm probably going to go up about 12, just to make sure we have the clearance to do so. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now we are going to need some different parts for the wind turbine. Be very careful as you're flying around putting this thing on. You see down where it says H2, I have 73 left. Now, as you fly around, which on keyboard is X, by the way, it will use that up. The more you do it, the more it uses it. What we can do to kind of make it last longer is grab one of these hydrogen bottles that is in the O2 generator. If I just grab one, you'll see it shows a little bottle symbol near my H2, which is good. So now it will constantly refill from that bottle until that bottle symbol disappears, which means this is at 0%. So it gives me a little while extra. And you can carry multiple bottles, and it'll keep going. But it's just nice to have 1 or 2 on your person, just in case. Plus it means you don't have to keep coming back here as often. Alright, so for our wind turbine, if you look on the right hand side, it lists a bunch of parts. The first part on the very bottom is what you need to place it. Now that can go for the wind turbine, it'll go for, if it doesn't lag on me here, basic refinery, it'll show steel plates, and then basic assembler shows steel plates as well. So that first one is always going to be what you need to place the block. So what we can do is we see there's 10 interior plates on the bottom, but there's also 30 more up top. So when I go to make them, I'm just going to do 40. If my game stops lagging here for some reason. Thank you. So I'm going to hold control and just do 10, 20, 30, 40. Now it only gave me 3. And that's because we're out of stone again. So we do need to keep getting stone until we get all these parts. I'll start skipping the stone gathering just to keep you guys from getting bored. That way we can kind of go through this a little quicker. But go through your list of parts for your wind turbine and make all of that up. So we have the 40 interior plate ready to go, or getting ready to go. We'll make sure we have 8 motors. We can just make 10, 20 construction components, 24 girders, and 2 computers. Should be simple. Now, one thing to look at when you're doing this is in the production queue on the right hand side, make sure you have steel plates last and then ingots before it, and you can move these around, not too hard, but make sure you have steel plates last, because we don't need that as part of the wind turbine, because it doesn't take any. So we're just going to move it to the very end. And then ingots, because we still do want those made, but after it's tried making all the parts we have. Just something to keep in back of your mind. So, while we're waiting for parts to be made, let's go take a look at this unknown signal. It's always nice to get these, because they can have parts in them, for one thing, and we can grind them down and kind of take parts. Which at the beginning of the game is nice, because, I mean, it's parts you don't have to dig for, right? So, one thing we're going to do is we're going to go take a look. We can fly over. We're not hurting for ice at the moment. We just want to be careful. Oh no! It's a spinny one. Go back. And it destroyed itself. Nice. Well, ain't getting too many parts from that. Huh, we got some. I don't think I'm gonna find that piece that flew off into the ether. That could be anywhere down the hill at this point. Yeah, well. Win some, you lose some, right? God damn it. Oh well. We'll be fine. We got our little tower. We'll be good. Plus, that's 14 motors we don't have to make. Which is all that's left, honestly. So let's grab our construction components, interior plate, computers, and girders. And I think we will be good. I'm going to hold right click on our motors. And I'm going to put 6 back. Because I think we only needed 8, and I rounded up to like 10. Or 2 and I rounded up to 10, something like that. Yeah, we needed 8. So, we're good. But now that we have everything, at least the interior plates, we're now able to place this. So, let's go all the way to the top. Place it down. Grab our welder. And start welding up our first power generation. This is cool. What do I need? Girders. You can see you need something because it will be either gray, or when you try to weld on it, it'll tell you what you need, or on the menu, it'll be red after you try to do it. So, kind of tells you, which is nice. So if I right click and drag, let me grab 6 more girders. And we have power generation. Love it. Cool. Now that we have some power, we can work on production. So we don't have to focus on using that little thing the whole time. So what we can do is get stuff ready for a basic assembler and a basic refinery. Okay? Now the way you have to be careful when placing these, okay? You see the yellow squares on them? Those are the cargo access points. This only has 2, and the one that is the issue is the basic assembler, because it only has 1 on all 6 faces. So we want to make sure that that connects to one of the yellow ones on the basic refinery. Hopefully that makes sense. So what I'm going to do, let me get some steel plate so I can set both of these down, is I'm going to make sure that my basic refinery is facing sideways, and I'm going to leave the spot here open. I'll explain later why, but right now I just want to put it sideways with the yellow boxes going left and right, kind of like that. And then with our basic assembler, what we're going to do is make sure that yellow box is on the left hand side so that it's touching where we placed the basic refinery. Okay? Let's do it that way. Looks good. Now, let's get both of these welded up. If we press right click on both of them, that puts it into what's called the build planner. And if we press G, this is the list of all the different blocks that we're able to build in the game. It's a lot. Don't worry. You don't have to go through all these menus. I'll kind of explain them as we go along. But the first thing that we're looking at is down here. That's the build planner. And when I right clicked on both of those, it added both of them to my build planner. So now, oh god, what I can do is go into the survival kit. I'm going to put the computers in there, and steel plates. And then if we look right here, we can tell it to build the components that are needed for those 2, or we can add them to the production queue, or we can withdraw components for build planner. That's going to be the one we want to do real quick. So it'll tell us we don't have that many, we don't have that many, don't have that many, yada yada. So now what we can do is just add components from build planner to production queue. And that adds everything we need. But first, let's move these ingots to the end. Look good? I think so. And what we can do is we can kind of organize this a little bit. Put that stuff together. Now it's more stone collecting till we got everything. Ooh, another unknown signal. Let's see if this one wants to try to run away from us. Alright, what kind are you? Let's get our grinder ready, because in case it tries to take off. Oh, Sparky. Oh, okay. Is it cool looking? Did we get anything? No. So, since the last update, and I think it's actually a hotfix they did after the update, oh god, some of these unknown signals just don't do anything after you hit the button. Ooh, pocket. And interior plates. Love both of those. I'm actually going to drop my stone, because I can always get more. But it doesn't give you anything, which I find very weird. But we're going to grind this down, because it's nice to have. Again, parts we don't need to make, so. Try to leave the battery for last, just so it doesn't kind of disappear on you. I'm going to take those parts, put them right into our machine right here. Cool. Let's grab all this. And I can always grab more stone. But it's actually nice that we have these. And I'll show you why here in a minute. Okay. We got production going back down. Let's move steel plates first for a second. We're going to need them anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. But I just want a couple of them. And then do I have... Yes, I have interior plate. Good. Okay. Move that over. Just so I can have a few of these on hand in case I need to place something else. But for the reason I said those metal grids and large steel tubes are really nice is because if we open our G menu and we come down here to logistics, we can grab the thing that says small cargo container. We're just going to put it over top of these solar panels because we're not using those for a minute anyway. But if you look, small cargo containers need metal grids. And it gave us 4 of them, which the small cargo container, ironically, does need 4. Now, the normal way to get those, if you don't get an unknown signal, is by grinding off these atmospheric thrusters, because they each give you 1. But that also means you're then building a rover to go get cobalt somewhere else, because cobalt you don't get from stone. And if we look, the survival kit can't even make metal grids. So, it's really handy that we actually got that. So, what we can do is place this right here. Now, the cargo container has yellow boxes on all sides. So this one, it doesn't really matter which way we place. I'm just OCD and feel like placing it this way. That way, when I'm looking at it from inside the base, it will have the cargo container label upright. And we'll put those metal grids directly into it, so I don't lose them. Cool. Now we have a third thing to get parts for, which we'll get eventually. Once I get more stuff. Dang it. Alright, now we just got steel plates for both of them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the basic refinery first. And I'll explain why when I get it done. But I want that to be the first thing to be done. Or the cargo. Let's go ahead and make sure that's added. What I'm going to do is remove the basic refinery and assembler from it, just so it doesn't add those parts again. And then add that to there. And that one part that it couldn't add to production was those metal grids. So I'm not too worried about it because we already got those. Nice. And then I think we have extra motors. Do we have extra motors? We do. Okay. Fair enough. And actually, I lied. The one part that I said it couldn't add to production is the small steel tubes. I forgot about those. Which it does have 3 of for some reason. I think we got them in the cargo container too. Or the unknown signal. But we can always go check that new unknown signal and see what we got. Let's add these in first. So steel plates in there. And then nice. Okay. Let me fill up on stone. Just so we can make sure the production keeps going while we go check that unknown signal. Cool, cool, cool. There we go. Alright, and away we go. Now you'll see my energy is really low. I probably should have topped that off before we left, but I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Are you gonna fly away? No? Okay. Good to know. Hey! See, this is what it's supposed to do if you don't get anything. That last one, I don't know what happened. So, it's just been random. So we'll get rid of the button. Cool. And then we'll check. Ooh, more iron and a plushie. Love it. But you see the antenna has small steel tubes. So we'll go for that for sure. The aura detector has a detector component. Nice. Parachute hatch has small steel tube. And then we will grab all the rest.
No energy.
I, of course, am out of energy. We can make a GPS point here and come back here in a second. If we press enter / GPS, and then we'll just name it whatever we want. I'll just name it Signal Drone. That way we can come back. Now, one thing to keep in mind, since we're on Earth-like, having no energy basically just means we have no tools. If you are in space or on one of the other planets, it can start to kill you. So, always keep that in mind. And I completely forgot that I have power kits that I can consume, which charges my energy. Good thing I know this game very well, huh? My own stupidity surprises me sometimes. Anyway, let's put parts into this. And we have our small steel tubes, so let's go ahead and do that. And we'll put something there. But I'm going to go back, take the rest of that drone apart, finish getting the parts for those blocks that we have set down, at least the refinery, try to make sure that's first, and we'll be back. If another unknown signal pops up, I'll let you guys see it. Otherwise, it'll be a quick transition for you. Sweet. That actually will get us to the functional line. Awesome. Now, the reason I said to build the refinery first, mainly so we don't have to rely too much on this. So if we take the stone out, if we go get more stone, cool, we got our inventory, and we come back here, as long as we can see one of these yellow squares, we'll be fine. So we'll wait to finish that. But you can see it holds 4,000 liters compared to the 1,000 that the survival kit uses, and it goes through it a lot faster. So we can take these back out and just transfer them to the survival kit. Yeah, it's another step, but makes things so much faster in the long run. And then we just need more steel plates for that. So I'm gonna leave the nickel and silicon in here and just take the iron. That way we don't use up too much space in this. How many do we need? 1,300. Wow. Okay. Well, back to drilling, I guess. So we have that many. I don't think we need all that, but we're gonna need a lot. Cool. So I only need 2 more steel plate to get this functional, which we have 10. So you don't need the top part. It's basically what adds the extra bit of armor in Space Engineers. But now that we have a basic assembler, really nice, what we can do is we have 15 small steel tubes that need made. If we go into here now, into production, because they're different grids, we can see we have small steel tubes. Oh, not 100. Just give me 10, 20 of them. And of course, that needs iron, which that just ran out of. So what I can do is take all of this. We'll leave the gravel in there for now, because Lord knows I don't want it. Not it right now, anyway. Comes important later, but not yet. And I don't recommend storing it somewhere, because you will get a lot of it. And it's very easy to get a lot of it. We'll just keep throwing this in here. And if we click this little button, we'll be able to see both inventories. So that way we don't have to go over to the assembler to look in there. So we can click on up here, and we can throw in our iron, nickel, and silicon. And we have our 15 small steel tubes. So now we have no energy. Love that. Always something. Perfect timing though. Couldn't do that any better if I tried. Alright, now that I'm full on energy, we have a small cargo container, which we can now put all of this stuff into. Beautiful thing. Now, that also means we can grab all of this stone, get a bunch of it, whatever fills my pockets.
Inventory full.
That much apparently. Go over to our smart cargo container and just dump it in there, because the refinery will then take it. And then the assembler will take it from there. But if you listen, oh, it's not doing it now. There it is. That kind of wind downish sound. That's because we have only one single wind turbine. So what we want to do is try to increase that a little bit. Give me these interior plates. Oh, I need steel plates too. Sorry. Give me those as well. And what we want to do is we want to add one block on each face, 2 down from the wind turbine. So kind of make a T here, right? Or a cross, or whatever you want to call it. And then we're just going to put one of these on each one. Oops, too far away. Cool. So the main reason for doing this way, instead of just putting them next to each other, is because if you look, wind turbines work by having clearance on all sides up to, I believe, 6 to 8 blocks. I can't remember the exact number, but it's a pretty big distance. And if you were to do that just this way, I mean, next wind turbine probably wouldn't be until like here. So what we tend to do, oh god, that's loud, is to keep clearance, because these two are technically not in each other's way. If we look, that one goes to there, that one goes to the same corner. So they have good clearance in all 4 directions, which makes them get their optimal wind setting, I guess. But go ahead, build all 4 of those up. You'll have enough power to run these 2. Should be fine. Alright. Ooh, hold on. Jetpack was really low. So what we can do is that bottle's reached 0. So what we do is we just come over to our O2H2 generator, plop it in there, and take it back out. Really nice, huh? Really nice. Then, let's go get some energons, because definitely need that. Alright, now we should be free and clear to go up here and finish our power generation. And this should be able to hold us over for quite a while. Cool. Now, the next part, since it's getting dark, the next part I want to do is moving our survival kit over to our base. Now, this can be very tricky, so you definitely want to be careful. Don't do anything that will get you into some trouble. So, what we would want is the conveyor junction, and I have some interior plates in my pocket already to get this started. But if you don't have anything, or you don't have any parts made, one thing you can do is go up to the cargo access, which is any of these yellow squares that you can access cargo through, obviously. If you press middle mouse, it'll say cannot withdraw 3 motors, but then it also adds it to your build planner, so then you can press shift middle mouse, and now all those parts are put to production, which it just made motors, really. Cool. So now we have all the parts for our conveyor junction. Let's grab some steel plates, because we have to secure this tower. So all I'm going to do is go 1, 2, and then down. I'm going to put one here. And then I'm also going to try and just get something over here, because I can be kind of goofy sometimes. But what that does is it gives it a fixed point to the base other than this one block. So that's what I want, because now we can do that. Go to our conveyor junction, put that in, and then weld it back up. And if you're wondering how I'm switching control bars or the hotbars down below, it is just control and the number. So if you press control 2, takes it to your 2, 3, 4, yada yada. Pretty simple. But now we can get rid of these extras. Get my steel plates back. Cool. That one I will leave there for now, just in case. But if we get, by pressing G, and we just type in SUR for like survival kit, if we look at it, it has big ports on either side, nothing bottom, top, or back. So we want to make sure that yellow part is facing one of these yellow squares here. So I'm just going to throw it right there. Now, one thing we have to do is make sure we don't die, because this is our lifeline for respawn at this point. So what I'm going to do is make sure there's nothing in it, and then grind it down. Beautiful. And it goes straight over here and weld it up. And we can build those extra steel plates pretty quickly at this point, so I'm not too worried about it. I say that as I'm out of stone. Cool. Now I have to do stone while not having a respawn point. Love it! Ooh, I have some loose down here. Nice. Let's just get that and go make our steel plates nice and safely. Yay. Cool. I at least have a functional survival kit. It has like no armor to it, but that's fine. I just need 5 more. Oh, you just don't have any stone. Okay, whatever. We'll figure that out later. But we have power generation. We have our survival kit for respawn and energy, which is nice. We have some basic production. The only thing left is O2H2, which, funny enough, if we grind that block away, look up O2, we'll put it right there. That's fine. It has spots on the top, 2 of the sides, and on the bottom, which is nice because the cargo container has a spot on top. So if we just put it like this, we'll have functional parts on either side. And it'll give us an extra port on this side as well to connect things. So that'll come in handy later. But one thing we can do is come over here, take the bottle and ice out. Let's get rid of this light. And then take the parts from this O2 gen and put them in here. Love it. Are you done? Oh, you need more iron. Okay, fair enough. One thing we're going to do really quick is grind down our ship here, a little respawn pod, because a lot of this we won't need, and I want to show you building a ship from scratch just to give you an idea of everything that you need as you build, instead of just kind of telling you, hey, do this to this and you have a miner. I want to give you the tools to build your own miner. That way you can have some fun with the creativity. I mean, that's the whole point, right? So let's get rid of all this stuff. I want the functional stuff first, so anything that has computers, large steel tubes, stuff like that. Ooh, that had stuff in it. Oh, nothing really. Like this has radio components. I want to make sure we get that kind of stuff first. That is a timer block, which is fine. And then our chair, which I do believe has stuff in it. If we sit in it, press I, or whatever your inventory button is, we can take this stuff out. Do not lose this data pad. We can use it later. Ugh, that was weird. So we can grind down the seat. Let's go put parts away before I lose them. Actually, take whatever parts we have. Cause see, now we just need steel plate, which is nice. Grind down the thrust. Because once again, that'll get us those metal grids, which come in handy. Computers, detector components. Radio components, computers, and small steel tubes. Inventory's full again. And then another thruster. Lovely. And then I believe all the rest is just steel tubes. Or steel plate. So we'll grind all this down. And I'll see you when we're done. No, I'm out of energy. Now see, that's what I was talking about. When you run out of energy, it does have the chance to start killing you, and that's because right now it is low O2 and cold temperature. So always keep track of that. And then how many more steel plates do I need? Ooh, had enough. Cool, so we'll have our O2 generator. Here we go. And now that should automatically get the ice taken into it, and we can take our hydrogen bottle, throw it in there, fill it up, put it back. I'm going to put the oxygen bottle back in there because I don't necessarily need it at the moment, or possibly do, apparently. But that should be good. And then we'll put the rest of it in here. Yeah. There we go. Cool. So we have power generation at the top. We got our survival and respawn, which is nice to have. O2 generation, cargo container, refinery, and assembler. Basic ones, but, gotta start somewhere, right? All before the sun came back up on the first night. It's good. And that's basically where you want to be. Because now we can start building different stuff, make the base a little bit better, get a little more permanent of a location if we don't like this location, yada yada. But we now have a permanent, survivable location, which is important. But with that, I'm going to finish grinding this down, getting all the parts put in my cargo container, and set up for the next day. Because that's going to be the fun day. We can start building some machinery and some automation, which is good. Oh, one thing to note with grinding down your ship. This battery, you will not get those power cells back. It says some components will be lost if removed. Power cells do not put it back in your inventory if you grind it down. So keep that in mind when grinding down batteries. Other than that, you should be all set to go. So, have fun. Build out on your base a little bit. Make it look a little prettier with all the steel plates you're getting from your little ship here. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, everybody. Would have looked way cooler if the camera stayed this way.